guys, the last time we actually talked about the Bishan North. Today, we shall talk about our weekly services, also known as the Bishan Services. Oh, my bus went missing. Yeah.
So, the Bishan North Services, also known as the Whitley Services, they are the few routes that serve around the Whitley area. The main role of these services is mainly to serve the schools around the area, for example, our own school, which is Whitley, Catholic High, and the other schools around. And it also forms as the service that serves the entire Bishan North at the same time. The area has two parts of the services that is being served over here. The main part being at the Bishan North area and the second one being at the Melbourne Road area, which I'll explain in this episode.
So, for the Whitley services, there is actually two areas that is served. Over here, the bus that you see behind me is serving the main part of Bishan North, while the other side of the Whitley services serve via the Melbourne Road. So now let's talk about the Bishan North area first. Got that. So, in the Bishan North area, there is only about 6 of the services here. There is 13, 22, 24, 88, 162, and 410W. So, currently, in the Bishan North area, there's only 6 services, as I mentioned just now. But, actually though, in the past, there were actually more services. Bishan North used to have a few services like 162M and now 1, which is our only night rider bus over here. And also the former 588 bus service. Yeah. So what happened then? Well, as MRT already exists, rationalization exists, and they just showing all the other services out, we are only left with these 6 services over here.
Oh, hell no.
So, how does the Bishan North services work? It's basically every single service that passes by here has different connections. For example, 13 actually runs from the Yishikang area, passing by Bishan Station, and then heading towards the Whitley area, the Boon King area, and also the Kallang area. And then there's also service 88, which runs from Pasir Ris to Toa Payoh, but it passes by towns like Toa Payoh, passing by again Bishan, our area, and then there's Ang Mo Kio and the Kallang area before going to Pasir Ris, which I don't think anyone stays there. And then there is 162, which used to run to Shantan Way until the road got cut back in 2023, and currently loops around Xinmin area. That service actually helps more on people who is the elderly folks or those who actually live at the other side of Woodfield, which doesn't have a college, doesn't have a direct route or any other routes to come here, they only take 162. And then there is service 52, which is the only service that goes all the way to the west side from here, and it's also a semi-express service. And there is also 54, which goes towards the town area via Marymount Road, which I will mention again later on. And lastly, we have our 2 feeder services, 410G and 410W, which I mentioned in episode 4. They run the anti-clockwise and clockwise service. So yeah, they are your feeder services over here. Not here, I mean there. Alright, next one. Where I'm actually standing is the Marymount area. Behind me is where you can see the service 851. And over here is being served, other than 851, there is 852 and 74 and also 54, which runs from the Bishan North area. So this bus stop is mainly to connect up to the back of Whitley, which is the behind gate. And yeah, there are only 4 services here that serve this area, and it's usually being used by those who actually live around the Ang Mo Kio area, Yishun area, or even Yio Chu Kang. Or if you go to the other side, it's the Thomson side. Yeah. Right behind me, there's a Mrs. Venture Tower, which is serving as a service 851. And it got defeated by the ambulance. Just like the Bishan North area, this area also have buses that serve to many different areas. For example, service 852 is our western connection towards Bukit via the Victoria area. And then there is service 34, which serves until Buona Vista, which also serve quite a number of schools before that, Central. And there is service 851, which runs from Bishan together with 852 all the way to Bukit Merah, which that's the in-service connection to the Little India area. And lastly, we have our dearest service 54, which runs towards Compre Terminal and also passes by our front gate all the way to the back gate and Orchard as well. Yeah. I'm tired already of this. Now that we know about the Whitley services, which I just mentioned a few minutes ago, now let me explain on how our bus timings may affect every single time that we want to take the bus. So it's normal for us to know that the buses may be late on certain timings, especially on off-peak periods, or sometimes when you wait for your bus, it takes so long to the point that you just want to walk to home. Well, I can actually explain for a bit. Now, ever since LTA took over our buses since 2016 under the bus contracting model, which is the reason why our buses are green now, they decided to also handle on their scheduled timings. Scheduled timings as in when there's a bus over here already and it's on the same service, for example 54 and 54, the front bus is required to go a lot more faster. However, the back bus will have to make intermediate stops even though there's no one taking the bus at all. This also affects our travelling time, as the bus may move a lot more slower. So instead of going very quickly, it goes like a tortoise. Yeah. So if you're wondering why is this happening, because LTA wants to keep the buses with their own gap with the timing. For example, 5 minutes and 5 minutes, not 5 minutes and 1 minute. They are trying to make sure that our buses don't bunch with each other and to make sure that our buses do reach to our bus stops on time. So the thing I just explained is basically called OTA. On time arrival is, well, basically it's trying to make our buses on time. But to many of us, it's basically just making our buses way slower and slower and slower. So yeah, I mean that's the thing about OTA. But we can't really complain because it's LTA spend. So yeah. The next time when you ride the buses over here, just remember that if the buses go slow, it's okay. The bus captains are just keeping the timing. Because if you don't care our timing, the buses are going to bunch with each other, just like that. So, now that we have already completed our Whitley services around here and already explained to you guys about the buses here and a bit more of the OTA timings, I hope you really enjoyed this episode, and this is basically one of the last main episodes that I'll be doing. And yeah, see you in the next episode for the closure of this series. So yeah, bye bye for now. See you. So, hello guys. Maybe there's a knock. Trying to leave. But I don't know anyone wants to talk about school, but wait, cancel that.